welcome to an episode of what we fondly call In Focus on the Road. These are the chances we get to go out of the studio, go someplace in person, and today we're at Lowell Park, and I'm joined by John Boswell, and John is the Assistant General Manager of the Lowell Spinners.
Hey Jim, how are you doing?
Me.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here.
You brought the good weather.
I know, amazing, huh? It's actually a little bit cooler here. We're actually filming this during the 90-degree heat wave, and it's actually a little cooler here. We're in the dugout, in the home dugout. It's always a kind of a cool thing to be someplace you usually can't get to. So thanks for letting us come down.
No, I appreciate you guys coming out.
So tell us a little bit about the club. I mean, it's kind of its history and how it's set up in the farm system for the Red Sox.
So the Spinners are a Class A affiliate of the Red Sox, and what that means is basically our team, our players, our coaches, and our training staff are all Red Sox employees. The Red Sox provide everything baseball related. The Spinners themselves, we provide everything non-baseball related. Okay. So while we can't control if the team's winning on the field, which they are, or if they're losing, which they aren't, we can control whether the between innings are fun, whether the bobblehead is a Mookie Betts bobblehead or it's a Dogman bobblehead. We can control whether there's fireworks or run the bases. So that's what we handle on this end of things. As an organization, Class A means we are the bottom rung of the professional development system. The only level below us is the Gulf Coast League. That's where mostly high school draft picks and international players will start their careers. We are short season A, one of the 3 A levels. As short season A, we get mostly the college draft picks. Okay. Players who played last year in the Gulf Coast League, and the assorted player who jumped straight from the Dominican Summer League all the way to Lowell. From Lowell, they go to Greenville, which is low A ball. The Greenville Drive jump to the Salem Red Sox, which is high A ball in Salem, Virginia. From there, it's AA Portland to AAA Pawtucket, and hopefully one day they play at the major league level with the Red Sox.
Excellent. And you have a jam-packed schedule too.
We do.
I mean, I know it's a short season, but how many games do you have in how many days?
So we play 76 total games in just about 80 days. The only breaks you're getting are travel days. There's one true off day. If the location is more than 8 hours away, there's a travel day built in. And this year there's only one of those, so we have a travel day built in on our trip out to Williamsport. And then there's 2 days off around the All-Star break, the All-Star game and the day before the All-Star game.
Now how do they end up traveling? Is it all by bus?
It's all by bus.
Yeah.
So, you know, the league, the New York Penn League itself, used to be predominantly focused in New York, right. Hence the name. Right. The Spinners, in fact, moved from Elmira, New York, before they became the Spinners.
Oh, okay.
But in more recent years, a lot of the New York teams, which played in old historic ballparks, have moved to brand new facilities, no longer in New York. So now there's teams in Mahoning Valley, Ohio. Morgantown, West Virginia just took a franchise this year. Aberdeen, Maryland, all locations that aren't exactly, you know, right down the Mass Pike.
Right. But it seems like, I mean, it really attracts families. I mean, that's really, you go to the games and it's filled with kids.
Right.
You know, and I know you do a lot of stuff with the kids and everything. And it seems like the minor leagues are really taking off again. It's like they hit that little, you know, they were big for a while and they kind of did a little bit of a nosedive, and then they've come back.
It is, and minor league baseball is geared directly towards families, and it's largely because we can't control the baseball.
Right.
So if you're rooting for a team based off wins and losses, a minor league park probably isn't your best spot because the people who operate that facility and operate that team can't control that.
Sure.
So our goal is when somebody comes that they don't really know what team we're playing. They might not know who the players are. They might not even know if the Spinners won when they left.
Right.
And that usually means we did a good job. But they remember that they took a ride on Thomas the Tank Engine, or that they caught a T-shirt during the T-shirt toss, or got a bobblehead on the way in, and that the post-game fireworks were fantastic, or that Timmy got to run the bases and slid into home after the game. And those are the memories that we can create here, and it really creates a unique environment that we take great pride in, because that's what we can control and that's what we can influence.
So the Red Sox decide the upper management decides who's going to be in all the different all the different minor league parks.
So because all the players are employees of the Red Sox, they all sign 6-year minor league contracts when they're drafted.
Oh, really? Okay.
And the Red Sox from there dictate where they go. So while the major league team is doing spring training, minor league spring training is going on at the same time, and it's basically a competition to see who goes to Portland or who goes to Salem. And the players who don't make the Greenville club or the Salem club, they get left in extended spring training, which is essentially they play games against other teams that are based out of Florida, but it's not an official game, and those players that are there wait until Lowell season starts, where they're joined by draft picks, and the Major League Baseball draft being typically the first week in June, that fills in that other gap.
So you don't know who's coming here at all until then.
It's one of my favorite questions when people ask who's coming in February, and I'm like, I have no idea.
And you get called up at different times of the season too to fill different gaps. So how many do you normally carry on the roster?
So typically the roster's 30 to 35.
Okay.
At any given point, we could have as many as 40 people here, between injured players and inactive players.
And that's the other thing too, is you do rehab here too.
Correct.
So you might get one of the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox, in here for a couple games for rehab.
So I mean, and that's the beauty of minor league baseball, is it gives, especially having Lowell so close to Boston, there's a chance for them to say, if last year we had Shane Victorino rehab with the team for 5 days. Lowell being so close, he could just drive up to Lowell, play in a game, and drive home.
Oh, right.
And it gives him a chance to get those live at bats that you can't take in batting practice.
Sure.
And it's not just major league rehabs. We have minor league rehab assignments. So if a player from Portland's hurt, he might come down to Lowell to get his innings back up, so he's not just jumping right back into Portland. You get a little bit lesser competition, but you get the chance to get those kinks worked out.
Right. So if you get one of the major league players or something, where do they end up? I mean, well, let's talk about the minor league players. Okay, so you get the Spinners players. Where do they end up living while they're here? Because they're only here for a couple months.
Right.
So do you have dorms for them?
Yeah. So being on UMass Lowell's campus gives us a whole wealth of opportunities for living arrangements.
Right.
Our players live in the dorms on UMass Lowell, but the students come back often before the season ends.
Right.
So they spend typically their last week maybe in a hotel. But it's a 50-50 split across minor league baseball, especially at the lower levels. Some teams will have host families, others will have dorm situations because they're on college campuses.
Now you also have, it's just I think the last couple of years you've got another team up in Nashua.
Yeah, so historic Holman Stadium in
awesome
Nashua is an
place.
Unbelievable facility. And sometimes when I'm up there, I look around and I'm like, man, there's pieces I wish I could just take down to Lowell.
And they did a big rehab up there not long ago, too.
They did. They added a whole suite level, which is beautiful. And there's things up there that you look at it. But when Holman Stadium was being unused, there was the team that was there prior to us taking over. They had some financial issues.
Right.
There was a situation where the city parked a tractor trailer on home plate because they weren't getting paid, and that wiped out the final seasons of the game. So after a year of being dormant, we said, this is a market that deserves baseball.
Sure.
And we put together the Nashua Silver Knights and really created a whole collegiate summer league. So when we created the team, we basically found 3 other owners, and it was a 4-team league for the first year, the Futures Collegiate League.
Yeah.
And since it's grown all the way up to a 9-team league.
Oh, really?
And it's basically it's the Cape Cod League, but it's not the prestige of the Cape Cod League.
Right.
It's more local players, so college players from Boston College or Northeastern or Southern New Hampshire or UMass Lowell who didn't get the chance to play in Cape Cod League, and because they play at a northern school, don't get the at-bats or the innings that a player in Florida or Texas would get. And it gives them a chance to get those reps and hopefully get the eye of a scout to take that next step and maybe one day become a professional athlete.
Now, is it a wooden bat league?
It is a wooden bat league. So, and it's a great opportunity because college is still predominantly at Division I level an aluminum bat league.
Yeah.
And so it gets these kids a chance to really prepare for the pros.
Right. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I mean, I grew up right next door in Hollis.
Right.
And I know we had the Angels for a while, and then we had the Pirates for a while, and so
there's great history at Holman.
Oh, yeah,
and when you look all the way back to Jackie Robinson was supposed to play for the team, and Don Newcomb and Roy Campanella, it's pretty impressive when you think back.
And my uncle was their bus driver. Believe it or not, when he got out of the service, he was their bus driver.
Yeah, I bet he has some stories.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. So. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. I'm really glad you guys are doing that. It's interesting too. I was looking through today some of the big leaguers that were here. You had I just picked a few of the people you might know: Shea Hillenbrand, Casey Fossum, Kevin Euclid, Jonathan Papelbon, Henry Ramirez, Jacoby Ellsbury, Clay Buchholz, Jed Lowry, Justin Masterson, Ryan Lavarnway, Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, who tonight you're gonna honor with a bobblehead. Is awesome. It's
so fantastic to see it, and there's situations where when the players are here, you're like, yes, that's a major leaguer.
Right.
But there's other guys that make it up that you're like, wow, I would have never saw that coming. And it really is a true testament to the players' willpower and their dedication to their task, to the game.
Right.
But it's also it's as long as you have a jersey, you have a chance.
Well, and you do say this is the road to Fenway.
It is.
It really is. It's if you haven't been to a game, you got to come out. It's not that far from Methuen over here. And it's a great take. Tickets are incredibly reasonable. The food is really reasonable. The beer selection's fabulous. So
we added a craft beer cart this year too.
Excellent, excellent.
So we have 18 new offerings at the craft beer cart.
And people really should come out and do the, well, it used to be called the Gator Pit. It's now
the home plate barbecue.
Yeah. And that's fabulous before the game too. Great choices of foods, and you know, it's really kind of neat. Now this year you're tied right now.
Mm-hmm.
You had a fabulous June.
We
first
did.
of all,
we
absolutely fabulous. And you tied for first place in the Statler division, and that's just amazing. I mean,
it's great to see the team winning. It just brings a different atmosphere to the ballpark. Like I said, our goal is to have you have a great time whether they win or lose.
Right.
But when they're winning, it's so much more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because when a team's struggling, you know, especially at this level, it leads to like a 3-hour game because a pitcher can't find the strike zone, or it's a 9-7 game. So when teams playing well and winning, it's exciting. And tonight we start a series with the Tri-City Valley Cats, who we now find ourselves tied for first place with.
Yeah, so this is big.
It's good to have it's a different atmosphere when a team's in the playoff.
Now, who are they the affiliate of?
They're a Houston Astros affiliate.
Oh, Astros, okay.
So they've been very good the past 4 or 5 years. They've made the playoffs, I think, all 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And that's a testament to A, the Astros' inability to succeed at the major league level, but B, their ability to succeed in drafting and developing young players.
Sure. Now this team started out, I know, back in what, 96?
96 was the first
and
year.
you were over at the old
Alumni Stadium,
yeah, over on 38.
So this is actually our 20th season of baseball. Next year will be the 20th anniversary season.
Okay.
But we started playing at La last year in 1998.
Which is just a fabulous place. If people haven't been here, it's great because you get to watch the sunset over the river. You know, it's really, and like I said, the things you do with the kids and everything are just fabulous. And this, you know, the players are all there to sign for them and everything,
and that's part of the mystique of baseball.
Right.
And you know, and sometimes you don't see it anymore at the major league level, but we want to make sure it's still a prevalent part at the minor league level.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of players that forget that as they move up. You know, and you get a player like David Ortiz who's out there, you know, before and after games signing as much as he can and everything, and taking time with the kids. And I think it's great. And now, obviously, there's not a whole lot of time for like community service work and things like that for these players. What is a typical player? How does their day go?
So they typically have a morning lift. They have breakfast in the UMass Lowell cafeterias. They head to the gym for a morning lift or a morning workout, depending on what position and what their schedule is. And typically their report time at the field is anywhere between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they're really, you know, depending on when they got in. So for example, we just finished a 3-game series in Staten Island. The team arrived home last night at 4 a.m. in the morning. So their report time today isn't until 3 p.m., so they get a little time to try to readjust their clock schedule. But they'll start doing early batting practice and early work on the field as early as 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock for 7 o'clock game. And really they're here all the way through, you know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, where they get a post-game meal on the way out and head home for the evening.
It's a long day.
It is, and I mean, these guys they're constantly working. They're constantly trying to get better, whether it's their bodies and what they eat and how they work out, or whether it's working on the game itself.
Wow, it's just amazing to me. Now, tell us a little bit about your history here with the team.
Sure.
I mean, I know you've been here for a few years.
Yeah, so this will be my actually 10th season overall, 8th season in a full-time role. So it's one of those places, you know, everybody wanted to be a player when they grew up.
Right.
You know, I'm no different than that. And I think I realized when I was throwing, you know, 60 miles an hour with my right arm and not a left arm in high school, you know, that's not the dream that you're going to follow.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough to have an internship with this club. And when I left and did a couple other things after the internship, I decided, you know, minor league baseball, that's really where I wanted to be. And I was in the right place at the right time and stumbled back into this role, and have just been able to grow. And it's a testament to the staff we have here, because it promotes growth and it promotes improving. Right. And we've been together for so long that we're like a well-oiled machine who just, everybody knows what everybody needs to do, and we operate off of each other.
That's excellent. You could start out in the minor leagues in all different aspects.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a player to start in the minors. Where do you see this team going?
I mean, from a perspective of this season, I hopefully see them playing in the playoffs past Labor Day. You know, from a personal from an overall standpoint, the Spinners are here. They're Lowell's team. We're the Merrimack Valley's team. So, you know, we look at this as a community organization, and we take great pride in that. And we hope that, you know, it's not just Lowell's team; it's the Merrimack Valley's team.
Sure.
So whether you're from Lowell or Methuen or Drake, that this is your team.
plans for the stadium? Any new plans?
So it's a constant flux. We've been very fortunate to work with the city last year to add a brand new high definition video board in left field, which replaced our old bulb technology.
Right.
And it gives us a lot more entertainment options. But we're always working on the field, whether it's looking at a playing surface or how do we upgrade the seating bowl. Last offseason, we upgraded the Gator Pit to the home plate barbecue.
Sure.
And it wasn't just a menu upgrade, it was we added a sound system, we added closed circuit TV. So if you're down there and the game's going on, you can see what's happening on the field.
Oh, that's good.
We put in 6 new high definition televisions and the sound system to go with it. So you have an environment where you can hang out down there and not feel like you're missing anything.
Right. And it seems like you're lucky in a way that your season falls when UMass Lowell is on vacation. They're
Correct.
on summer vacation. So you actually have the parking garages and the parking lots and everything that,
correct.
For people to use. Because I know that used to be kind of tight for a while.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a lot better lately. The last few years I've gone, it seems a lot better.
The growth of UMass Lowell, the Chancellor, Marty Meehan, before he left for the overall university, did a wonderful job of expanding UMass Lowell. And so there's places that used to be parking lots that are now, dorms with 3 or 4 different, buildings on it. But they've been a great partner in the community in helping us set up so that we operate as a partner and as a community.
And that's what I was going to say. This is really a partnership between the team, the Red Sox,
yep. The university and the city of Lowell. There's 4 players in the partnership.
Wow. Which must be difficult sometimes.
It can be. It's everybody has goals. Everybody has time. So if we make the playoffs, we're now playing past Labor Day. And UMass Lowell would, I'm sure, love to start their fall ball schedule.
Sure.
At the same time, we might be preparing for a baseball game. So there can be definitely times where you run into conflicts, but we just have to remember that it is a partnership. And
it's good that we used to have the Lock Monsters, and I know you're doing a Lock Monster. You started, was it last year?
So this will be our 3rd season with the Lock Monsters night, and on Thursday evening, this coming Thursday. The team will be wearing Lowell Lock Monsters jerseys.
That's cool. I was at the one last year.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, and people love the Lock Monster. If we found Louis, people will be looking for Louis. If anybody out there knows where Louis is, come let us know. We want to bring Louis back to Lowell.
I know we still have the kids still have our kids are grown now, but they still have their claws from going to the games and everything. And we used to do that all the time. And it's really too bad that Lowell doesn't have that hockey franchise anymore.
Right.
Obviously, they've got the Riverhawks who are doing phenomenally well now and everything too. But what do you think the difference is between the two? Is it because you own your own stadium?
Well, we don't own the stadium. The stadium's owned by the city of Lowell.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So just like the Lock Monsters or then the Devils, we're tenants of the city of Lowell. We likewise are tenants. But I think if the Devils were a Boston Bruins affiliate, it would definitely play a lot into that. Because they tried, they took the same mantra, but hockey's a different atmosphere. It's a more expensive ticket. People who play hockey are playing in the season. We're opposite baseball season. So if your son or daughter plays Little League, the Spinners aren't playing during Little League season, which certainly can help. But I think what they ran into was the stadium arena needed some improvements, and the university said, well, if we're going to make the improvements, we'd like it for our hockey team. So our hockey team practice more, and it's obviously certainly paid off for the hockey team.
Sure, absolutely.
Who's going to Frozen Fours.
Absolutely.
But it was definitely sad to see the Lock Monsters or the Devils move on.
Yeah, and now it's funny because in Manchester you had the Monarchs, and this year they won the Calder Cup.
And now they don't have.
And they're gone.
Exactly.
It's going to still be they're still going to be there, but it's going to be one of the lower level teams coming up from California. It just seems like you guys have just made such a niche here that. The kids love coming, the families love coming. The players seem to really enjoy it too. I know we were here for a rain delay one night, and both teams really trying to outdo each other with things, like sliding on on pads and stuff, doing everything.
There's not a lot of places for them to go during the rain. When you play 76 games in 80 days, you get a little loopy sometimes, especially when the rain comes.
What do you do when do you have to do double headers?
Yeah, so if the team's still playing, if it's a 3-game series and the first game gets rained out, we'll do 2 7-inning games the next day for doubleheader. But we don't like to think about rain at the ballpark.
No,
rain is not our friend.
So we have a gorgeous day today.
Exactly. So, it never rains at Lasher Park.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been here for a couple of them, but no, it never rains here. And tickets, are reasonable, like I said. What
so,
do they start
so
at?
tickets start at $7 for the reserve ticket, and the most expensive seat is $10 for the premium seat.
It's amazing.
So we do those are our advanced ticket prices. We try to reward the people who are buying their tickets early.
Sure.
On day of game, those prices jump $2 a ticket, so it goes from $9 to $12. But our goal is to still get a family in and out under $50, if with food, with parking, with tickets.
Which you can't do anywhere else.
Which is our goal. So.
Yeah, you can't really do that anywhere else. How have the other teams affected? Like you've got the Fisher Cats now and everything. Is that drawing away from you at all, or is that? It doesn't seem to be. I mean, when I'm here, it seems about the same amount of people.
It's a different. I mean, if you're depending on what you're looking at, we're a Red Sox affiliate. They're a Blue Jays affiliate.
Right.
New Hampshire versus Massachusetts. There's sometimes that invisible border at the New Hampshire New Hampshire Massachusetts line. But we try to operate in unity. We don't view ourselves as direct competitors.
Right.
Because there's enough to go around.
Yeah. Now what league? I don't even know what league.
They're a AA team.
They're double A.
So they start in April.
Right.
So they have games in April, May, where we're kind of just waiting and preparing.
I'm gonna say their park is really nice, but
it's a beautiful park.
It's really hard to get it. I mean, you park like miles away, it seems like, and have to hoof it in.
Well, the irony is that team came from New Haven. It moved from New Haven to Manchester, and it was our owner, Drew Weber, who put that team into Manchester. And when Drew sold out of the club and to just focus on the Spinners, in doing so, he essentially left a competitor in New Hampshire for us.
Wow.
So,
that's not good.
No, it's not bad, but it's certainly it's ironic when people ask about well, they're a competitor, and you look at it. But when you think more about it, we also own and operate the team in Nashua, which is right in the middle of both.
Right.
So there's more than enough baseball fans to go around.
And I think it seemed like when there was the other the last incarnation of the teams up in Nashua before the college level team, it just seemed like they didn't quite know what they were.
Right. They tried a lot of different things.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So they went from trying to be fully independent, and that can be very costly because if you're trying to sign players like, Jose Canseco was playing in the league.
Right, I remember that.
The salaries are through the roof, and your insurance, and you're playing 3-game series in Quebec.
Right.
Where travel costs are exorbitant, and then they tried another year where they were the military hero all-stars.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
And people, it was a great concept. It didn't catch on. And now as a summer league team, it's a situation where you don't need those Jose Cansecos.
Right.
It's based more, where they were focusing on baseball. Baseball's certainly a focal point, but now entertainment and family entertainment's the more vibrant part of what the operation is.
And the college kids that are up there in that program, is it kind of set up like the Cape Cod League, and that
Correct.
they have other jobs as well too?
So yes and no, because some of the players don't need housing since it's focused on local athletes.
Right.
So if they don't need housing, they can do as they please. But if they do need housing, they do offset that with local employment. There's no road trips. It's not like they're going to Aberdeen for 3 games like the Spinners do.
Right.
They'll play in Brockton and then just drive home after the night. So
where are the teams located?
So it's all New England based. The furthest south is I think Bristol, Connecticut, and Torrington, Connecticut, and then out up to like Pittsfield and the Seacoast, New Hampshire. So it's really a hyper local league.
Okay. Wow, that is pretty local. Yeah. So now the Cape Cod League, those are all pretty much prospects. I mean,
Correct.
They're a lot of them have signed contracts already.
You can have signed and play in the Cape League. So they're players who've been drafted or draft prospects.
But they haven't signed.
Correct. So for Major League Baseball draft, you can be drafted after your senior year of high school or your junior year of college, depending on your age. If you're an older sophomore, you can get drafted. So those players are predominantly going to be freshmen and sophomore college players, or juniors who didn't like their draft stock and are continuing to play and go into next year's draft.
Well, it's neat. It seems like baseball is alive and well.
It is.
And it's really funny because when I was a kid, I don't think I saw a baseball field any evening that wasn't full of people, kids playing and stuff. And it seems like now there's so many other draws. There's lacrosse and there's soccer and everything else. And but it seems like this is alive and well. And you're doing a great job here. It's fun. Like I said, folks, if you haven't been out, come out. If you have been out, you know how much fun it is.
Come on back.
Out again. You get some more time. They're playing through this year until Labor Day weekend.
Yes, we finish on Labor Day Monday. So I think we have 22 games in August and September. So it's really a chance for fans to come out really throughout the whole summer and even into the early fall.
That's excellent.
So.
And then hopefully
playoff baseball.
That, we'd like to see some fall ball.
We haven't had playoff baseball since 2009 at Lasher Park, so we'd love to have it back.
That'd be excellent.
But sometimes, it's hard to remember. It's not about winning; it's a development.
Well, I thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you.
Thanks for having us out. It's a gorgeous day in the ballpark. It's
gorgeous every day.
Always
every
gorgeous
day
here at the park. And come on out, and enjoy and take, come early and go to the
barbecue pit. You can't beat
awesome. That. And you're not going to beat the prices. You're not going to beat the location, and you're not going to beat the quality. I mean, it's so much. You see great plays. You see some and you go, okay, that's why they're in the minors. but that's okay. That's how they're learning.
They're learning.
So that's right. Absolutely. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in again today. And we'll be back next month, hopefully with another episode of In Focus.